Hi everyone, Elsie Jensen here. Tonight we are going to be cooking up some kind of sourdough flatbread pizzas in our pizza oven, and we are going to cook up some flank steak on our grill and saute up some veggies, so kind of make like bougie flatbreads here. So let's start. I'm going to prep up my yellow onion so we can start sauteing that on our kind of our Blackstone. It's not a Blackstone, but it's the same thing. We're here at my parents' house. They've got a nice little bougie outdoor kitchen set up. I guess it's outdoor kitchen dream goals, but it's fun to live so close to be able to use it. So we're gonna slice up and saute up our onions because I find that on homemade pizzas, it's just so much nicer to saute them up. It gives them a little bit nicer flavor. So we're going to do nice, long, stringy ones here. That way, they'll just be like lovely on the pizza. And they'll go well. We're going to cook up some asparagus as well. Okay. So we've got our onions here. And we're going to get a little bit of butter. And we're going to start and we're going to put these on our little black chop over here. So I'm going to first put down some butter. Let it melt up here. I do have all of my grills and everything heating up so that they're not cold. And we'll break it up. As you can see, we've got a nice sizzle. I'm going to turn it down now to about medium on each one. I got that beautiful sizzle. And we're going to add in our onions. Yeah, come back over here. We'll give this a quick saute. This is the first use of the season here. So we're going to get back into the remembering how to do everything. Okay. I got to remember where all my grill tools are. Okay. There we go. I'm going to bring some of that brown butter in. We're going to let these saute. Okay. There we go. Okay, we've got those going. And we're going to go over and let me actually grab. I'm going to just look over here. I think I have some of right in here. This is, we're going to be grilling up our flank steak on here. This is where all my tools are. I knew I had them in here. Okay. So, spread them out. And we're going to let these saute, bring up their nice little flavors. Beautiful. Of course. Okay. Let's let those go. I've got them now on mediums. I had them nice and hot. First use, so I always like to heat up my grills up to a lot to kind of cook off anything after we gave them a deep cleaning, just to make sure they'd be nice and clean. Heat kills everything. And now we're going to chop up our mushrooms so we can add those on there and saute them, because we're going to have a couple of mushroom pizzas on here, or kind of bougie flatbreads for our dinner tonight. So I've got my sourdough crust here that we'll roll out and put in our pizza oven. We're going to do a couple pre-bakes of the crust, then we'll kind of design our flatbreads up, and then we'll do also just a couple pizzas. So let's get our mushrooms all chopped up and ready to saute too. And we're going to also, before we pop them on, we are going to season up our brisket. And I have my little ones. They're all actually, the whole crew is up behind me swimming in a pool. So we got the whole family here. It's kind of nice setup. So we got this. Now let's season up our flank steaks so that we can cook these up to kind of a nice medium rare. I'm going to put on some A1 steak sauce. Give it a little acidity to flavor it up. And we've got some garlic salt and some garlic, or in regular garlic, fresh garlic, not fresh garlic. Good little brush over. And we're going to give a nice little bit on each one. And then let me grab my second set of tongs here so we can flip these over. Give them a little thing. I've got to get this whole, it's been a whole year since I've used it, so I've got to get all my utensils back into the way I like them. There we go. Flip this over. We're going to season the other side so it has nice flavors as well. And this is a flank steak. So we're going to just kind of cook it up. It doesn't take long to cook up, but then we'll slice it thin and we'll put it on our flatbreads. Here we go. A little bit of our garlic, salt, season it up. And where's my garlic? A little bit of my garlic. Okay. And let's bring our mushrooms over to our thing. We're going to add them on, and then we'll start with our our crusts here. Grab. We're going to add a little bit more butter over here. Shouldn't be quite as hot, but it's still going to be nice and warm. And I'm going to add our mushrooms. Lost the guy. And we're going to let these kind of saute up, get a nice flavor on them. Keep losing some down there. It's okay. But we were getting some nice caramelizations on the onions. That's going to really bring out their nice flavors. I just want to kind of coat my mushrooms all up in this butter. And then we'll spread it out. And these are going to be for our our bougie flatbread pizzas we're going to be making up here in just a second. Okay. Let's start. Let me grab my flour over here because we'll put that on in just a second. We're going to pre-cook some of ours first. You know what? I'm actually going to pop them on now. This is a pretty thick one. So we're going to go into our grill right here. I've got it preheated. I'm going to turn it down to a medium on each one. I like to have it nice and high to start with, and then I'll turn it down. Here we go. I'm going to see. I think I forgot to bring this guy down, so we'll just cook it on there. There we go. We're going to hear the sizzle. Oh, it is pretty nice. It's pretty bougie back here. It is great to cook on. I also say, not ours. It's my parents. They put it in last year, and it has been wonderful. It's a lot of fun to cook on. I'll tell you that. Okay.
We'll be building the Timu version.
Yes, literally the Timu version will be, or the Wish. I don't even know if we're at the Timu. I think we're at the Wish version. Okay, let's get some of our flatbreads going up. Now, even when I've made my pizzas here, I've told you I'm not very good at doing some big pizzas. So I can do small ones. I just haven't mastered that whole kind of crust building and sliding off. But these are going to be flatbreads, so I think they'll be easier, meaning I'm going to pre-cook them a little bit. We'll take them out, and then we'll put more toppings on them and pop them back in, which will give them a bit sturdier of a base. So here we go. I'm going to try to do long, you know how they show you those flatbreads. They're nice long like rectangles. So I'm going to make sure I have enough flour on here to do the slide. And then we're going to stretch this up. This is made with my sourdough. This is a full sourdough flatbread. Here, I've got my pizza oven right here. It's at almost 500 degrees, so it is nice and hot. Let's see. I'm going to make it to right around the right temperature. You take it off, and then, like you're in Italy, guys, we're just going to slide it on. And you put your little window back on. And we're going to let it cook for just a few minutes, kind of crisp at the bottom, and then we'll build our whole little pizza with it. Let's use these tongs here. Got my mushrooms, my onions, and I want to make sure we're not going too high. you know, first one, we're warming it up. I've got to get used to it. We did do them at Thanksgiving here, so hasn't been so long, but it's been a couple of months before I've used it. Okay. It's a nice little toss. We're starting to get that good little sizzle on it. I'm going to slide these over. Turn that up. And then we're going to add our asparagus over here with a little bit of butter. That way we'll get a nice kind of crisp on our asparagus as well, which will be going on some of our flatbreads. We'll make them a little bit more bougie. Here is my asparagus. We're just going to lay them kind of flat on here. There's my Jackie. I don't know if you guys can hear him. He's having a blast in the pool right now. There we go. So we've got our asparagus cooking up right there. This is just to get a nice little tender cook on it. Let's see how our oven is going. Look how fast this goes. We got our first one up. We're going to assemble it here in just a second. I'm going to put it out. Let me grab my cutting board. Got our first one up. Let's get our second one. I think I might need to go even thinner on the next one. I thought it was thin enough, but this one puffed up. So, I did not. I just gave them a nice wash, and then we're going to saute them on our little cook's top over there, and then we're going to put them in our pizza oven. There's some of our flour. Okay, this one, I'm going to try to roll out and see if that one will be a little bit thinner. So, there we go. Want it nice and thin. This one will be a good start. Here we go. But this is all, no yeast in it, all from sourdough. Look at this. We're going to get a bigger one out of this one, which will be nice. When you don't have as many toppings on it, it's much easier to slide them off and on. Okay. And thoroughly flour it. That's where you're going to get the slide. So you can get the move. Pop it on here. We're going to let that one start to cook. And then let's put together our first one, and we'll pop it right back in the oven when we're done with it. So I've got some fresh mozzarella here. We've got some tomatoes. We'll bring those all up in case we need to cook these up. Let's see. So we're going to do, for this one, we're going to do some fresh mozzarella on it and some tomatoes. We'll put some of those vegetables that we have sauteing up over there as well. Grab my knife, my extra cutting board, and we're going to slice these up and add them on. So kind of bougie, simpleton. And then we're also going to check on our flank steak and see how it's cooking. Okay, let's head over here. We're going to add on some of our mushrooms and our onions to this. So, as many as my dough will yield. Sometimes I have no idea. So, as many as it yields. I did do a big batch of dough, so we'll see how it yields up. Okay. And it looks like this next guy is ready to come out. Now that we're getting it, there we go. I'm looking for a slightly softer. I kind of cooked mine a lot on the first one. We're going to slide it there. And then we're going to take our bougie one that we added up all of our little ingredients on, and we're going to pop it right back in here and heat it up. So it's a little bit different. Doing the flatbreads are a little bit different than doing the pizzas, where you would just kind of cook it up fully. In there, we'll do a couple pizzas toward the end. Let's check on our brisket. I think we're going to need to do a flip here. We want it to cook up nicely. There we go. Beautiful. Now, flank steak, I don't know why I called it brisket, but flank steak cooks up fairly quickly. So we just need a little bit longer on this one. This one will be done first because you can see it's a lot thinner. And I'm going to cook it until it has a nice, I want it to be pink in the inside. You don't want to overcook it. So that's kind of my goal. Let's give our asparagus here a little stir. And this is going to help kind of tenderize them up. We're going to have some of them will be eaten just plain, but we're going to put some on our flatbreads and they'll be delicious. I'm going to grab a little bit of garlic salt to put on here. There we go. Kind of season everything up. And let's see. Take a quick peek at it. It's still cooking there. I'm messing with my heat until I have it at the right temperature. You don't want to go too low, but you don't want to go too high. I figured, I'm still in that Goldilocks zone for the new year. But let's kind of prep up what we're going to put on this flatbread here that we have. It's kind of soft and perfect. So I think our steak, our smaller one, should be ready to come out. And our bigger one needs a little bit. I said it shouldn't take long. They cook up really fast. And they're going to go into the pizza oven right on top of this. Beautiful. So we'll get this guy on here. We'll leave that one on for just a little bit longer. And for this one, we're going to do a little bit of a pesto base on here. I'll reach over here, grab a spoon real quick. Because pesto makes everything so delicious. So we're going to do a little bit of pesto. Spread it around. This is going to give it a nice kind of herby flavor. There we go. On here. And then I've got our flank steak here, which I'm aiming for having a nice kind of pink middle to it. It's still very hot, but look at that. We're still got a nice pink middle, which is perfect. We like ours medium rare in this house, so these will be perfect to go on to our flatbread here. I'm going to kind of arrange them. A little bit hot. There we go. And then let's grab, we'll cut up another tomato to go with this. And add some on here. And then I've got a little bit of arugula as well and some mozzarella cheese. So I've got my arugula right here. We'll sprinkle a little bit of this on here. And a little bit of our fresh mozzarella as well. And we'll pop this one in the oven in just a second to start kind of giving it last little crisp. We should be able to take our next one out. So let me grab this tray. Ooh, it looks good. Beautiful. Let that nice slide up there. Gorgeous. We got the melt on it. So I've got our first one done. Winning. And now we're going to slide this guy one in there to kind of do its last little cook up. And I will say, the reason why I pre-cook them is it's easier to move them off than if you're trying to do it with a unbaked crust. Now, if you're doing a pizza where it's all going to cook on there, it's fine. But this makes it a little bit easier. Okay, let's toss these. Give them a nice little coating. And now I'm going to turn everything down to real low over here because it's just going to keep it warm until we build up our pizzas since they're all about done cooking. And let's check out our brisket here. I'm going to grab, and what do I want to put it on? I think we'll put it on this. I need to transfer it out. So this guy should be done. I can turn this whole grill off and lights off. Pretty fancy. There we go. So this one takes a little bit longer to cook because it's fatter, but we'll let it sit in there and then we should be able to slice it and put it on our flatbreads. Okay, let's start building our next flatbread. Oh, actually, we'll do a pizza next. Kind of change it up a little bit, like a garlic cheese bread. We're going to sprinkle that on. I've got my sourdough pizza crust here. And we're going to roll it out here, make it nice and thin because it does have a bit of a puff. Our first flatbread was a chunky one. So we're going to make this guy a little bit thinner. It'll puff up nicely in our oven. And that's what I said. I make small ones because my big ones, they always are very hard to transfer in and out of it. Okay, we've got this guy ready. And we've got him. He's got a good slide. I always do my slide test. Let me grab my mozzarella. I got regular mozzarella. And I've got a little bit of this butter here. Grab a knife. And we're going to put a little bit of butter first. This is going to be a cheese bread. So it'll be just nice. You want to put a little butter on the base of it. That just makes it a little bit nicer. And then we're going to sprinkle our mozzarella cheese over the top. I think there we go. Some just plain regular mozzarella. And a little bit of Parmesan over the top of this. So you have lots of different cheeses, and then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of garlic salt over the top. Just makes it a little bit nicer.
Yeah, and about 10,000 comments how much people like it.
Oh, I know. It is so nice. And the fact that, here's my garlic salt, my kids can enjoy and play and pool and only bother me mildly. Okay, a little bit of this. Let's get going. We're going to need to do a switcheroo here. Okay. So I'm going to actually slide this guy off. Look at our beautiful pesto steak, fresh mozzarella, and arugula. Gorgeous. We'll actually do a little slide. Beautiful. First two ones done. I'm going to put my next one in. Add this on, let it heat and cook. Goes actually pretty fast out here for what we're doing. You know what I mean? It's kind of nice. Let's see. Before we prep our next one, let's whip up a quick salad, which I thought would go great. We have some arugula, tomatoes. I'll put it in here. You know what? It's really not that bad because you can hose everything off afterwards. And we have like trash cans down here. We have a sink over there. So it isn't too bad. And what we did, and it's kind of old school, but we bought these little dish tubs. So when you have dirty dishes, we'll put them all in here and then we bring them up to the kitchen. So we found ways to make it easier. It wasn't always easy. Okay, so we've got a bed of arugula here, and we're just going to do kind of a simple bougie salad. Let me see. Grab my cutting board. And I will say, every time before we do, we scrub everything down so it's nice and clean, so that way you don't have too much stuff messing around. We're going to add in some tomatoes for this. And everything is going to get eaten up and cooked. We're going to add some steak in there, so it'll be like a nice kind of a steak salad too, which will go really well with this. So I'm just quartering each one of these. And so we've got our tomatoes in our salad. Let's see, I might do one more. And I'm going to take some fresh mozzarella. And we'll add this to our salad as well. And I will say one thing that makes it nice is we actually bought all utensils to be down here. They're like our outdoor grilling utensils. So they stay down here so you're not constantly having to bring things up and down from the kitchen. And now I'm going to cut kind of thin strips of our flank steak here. And flank steak is so tender, but the only thing with flank steak is it's really only good if you grill it. It is not great if you try to cook it on a stove or whatnot. It's just only good grilled. I'm going to cut it down the middle so we don't have super huge big pieces. And we're going to lay this over our steak, or our salad, our steak over our salad. So we have a nice, lovely kind of a flank steak salad. Beautiful. And this guy is ready to come out. So I'll bring him over there. Whoop. Kind of twirled a little under him, so let me fix him. But there we go. So this is our cheesy bread. Delicious. Nice crunchy crust. I will say the pizza oven gives you the best pizzas. Now let's start prepping our next one. Put my little flour on here. And we'll grab a nice big chunk of our dough. And I'm going to roll it out. I'm going to see if I can get a nice, we're going to do a flatbread on this one. And we're going to roll it out and then we'll pop it in there to cook up for just a few seconds. And I say the reason I do that first cooking is because it is easier to then put the ingredients on. You can also buy pre-made flatbreads and do it on a regular grill. That works well too. Just put like a little bit of aluminum foil or a bit underneath it if you need a bit of a base to hold it together. So let's get this big guy rolled out so he's not super chunky. There we go. So, and then what I'm going to do is, yep, I've got a good swish. Make sure I always do the swish test because if I don't, then it won't slide off. And so it's really important to do the swish test. Let's add, we've got that in there. We're going to let that cook up for it. Perfect. Okay. And let's bring this over here. We're going to give that a quick thing. We're going to prep up some more of our flank steak because we'll do another one with our flank steak on it. I was really excited. I love flank steak and I thought, oh, this will go so great on our things here. So again, I'm hoping for a nice kind of pinkish red middle to it. So I'm hoping it cooked up well. We'll be popping this in our oven as well. So we'll heat up some more. But the trick is you don't want to overcook your flank steak. Otherwise, it is tough. You want to keep it nice and pink in the middle. Which we got a pretty good pink here. Nice and tender. There we go. And of course, we'll leave some for eating because my kids, you know how they are. They love their steak. So I'm going to slide this over here so we do have our big steak ready. And we can put some more on our things. Okay. Where did I have my... Got my roll of paper towels down here. Keep it nice and clean. Give this a little clean up. Okay. Let's check on this. Ooh, we've got a nice puff. So we're ready to pull it out and assemble it for our next one. Look at this nice little puff. Beautiful. We're going to let it sit down and cool down just a second. And we, beautiful. I always say, let it breathe. And we're going to do, for this one, we'll do a little more of our pesto on it. There we go. And we're going to do asparagus on this guy. And the second cooking is really just to kind of heat up that cheese and start that beginner melting process. So let's put a couple strips of our flank steak on here. Get it nice in that nice flavor. Again, we want the nice, spread it out. There we go. Okay, beautiful. And now we are going to, let me grab our cheese. We'll put this cheese on right after we put the rest of our veggies on over here. So we're going to put on our asparagus on here, as well as our onions and our mushrooms. So this one's gonna have all the good stuff on it. This is gonna be my favorite. So this will not be my husband's favorite because there's veggies on it. He just wants the flank steak and the the cheese. There we go. There's the kids. And some onions. Look at this, loaded up. And now here's that fresh mozzarella. We're gonna place right over the top. And then we're gonna just place this back in there until that cheese is starting to bubble up. Okay. Slide that in there. We'll close this up. With these ovens, you can't actually close the window all the way or the flame will go out. Okay, let's start. Let's see what we're going to, we've got, trying to decide which one I want to do next. Okay, I think we'll do another cheese because that's always a hit with the littles. So let's get our cheese ready. We'll roll it out so we can put it on there. Actually, we'll slide it right on there when we're doing it because this will be a pizza instead of a flatbread. And this is using our sourdough. Look at that. I feel like I could be like, ooh, not that good. Just pretend I was doing it really well, guys. Okay.
Pretty good.
Hey, yeah. You don't have to say that. You could pretend, make me believe that it was amazing. Okay. I'm going to slide this. We're going to coat it. I feel like I need to get a second one of these because a lot of times I'm trying to do the shifts between them. We are going to do another cheesy bread. I still think we'll do a cheese with some tomatoes on it, but we'll do some mozzarella cheese on here. And there we go. Let's slice up our tomatoes. These are like Campari tomatoes, and they are so perfect for pizzas because they're nice and kind of thin. They're small, but a lot of flavor. So we're going to slice these up, add them on here. Evie will like this because she loves tomatoes. And
Dad said they thought you were going to spin it, and I told them I think you were trying to.
That was the extent of my ability. Pretend that I did spin it, and that's, pretend it happened.
You have a question. Are these cutting boards the ones listed on your Amazon store?
Yes, these are the ones listed on my Amazon store. They are awesome. We got them from here. I have the ones that I have at home that I've had forever, but these are there and they're great. I just say everything that is on my Amazon store, I own. It's actually, they're great products. Because after you've been cooking for a while, you know what's good and what's not. And I hate buying something and it was expensive and it was a dud. So they are great. And with our Amazon thing, I recommend them. We do make a small, profit off of them, but they are good. They're tried and true products. Beautiful. I'm running out of places to put everything. Okay. So we've got our steak on here. I've got our next one. I'm going to bring over here. We've got our assembly line. You can always tell which one was closest to the flame. We're going to put this next one in. And this is our pizza going in. Turn it down. By the end of the summer, they'll all be perfect. But I got to get my finessing it, it's like riding a bike. The first time you get on it, you're not so great, but after a while, you'll get better. Okay, we're going to make 2 more. And we're going to roll these out thin so we can put on, and then the rest are going to, hopefully, we can throw them in our salad too, our veggies. Okay. I'm going to roll this guy. Like you see at the restaurants, you get those long rectangles. as your flatbread. Because if you made it in a circle, you'd just say it was a pizza, but they're like the same thing. Okay. Got this one. I'm going to see. I was hoping I could maybe I might be able to put both of these in at the same time. That might be too ambitious of me. Okay. I'm going to slide this. We'll get this rolled out as well. And we'll cook them up. We'll take them out. Then we'll dress them back up with all sorts of goody goods. There we go. So nice and thin. That way we don't have the super chunky ones. Because as you can see, even though I rolled them out thin, they do puff up quite a lot for them. The crust like this one, it does get pretty thick. So they do. And it's just, there's no yeast in it. It's just sourdough. But it's amazing how well they can kind of pop up. Okay. Let's look at this guy. I'm going to give him a rotation. And now I'm going to see if I can sneak these guys on the side. I've got one in there. I think I can get one for now. That way it'll pop up and be ready. Okay, let's bring, I'm going to grab my veggies. We're going to bring our veggies over here. And that way we can assemble over here. So I'm going to turn off my grill. Got to remember to slide them all the way off. And our extra asparagus we'll put in our salad because I think that will go great in the salad. I'm cooking it for my family, just my kids and I, which is 7, plus my parents and my aunt. So 10 people today. Kind of big family. So we eat a lot of food. And I guarantee you probably all of this will get eaten up tonight. Especially since the kids are working up an appetite in the pool. There we go. And that's pretty good for now. Okay. We'll add and cook them here. Now, for people who don't know, this is actually not blood. It's called myoglobin, which is the protein that seeks from it. Everyone sees it. My kids always think, oh, it's so bloody. It's not bloody. It's actually the protein that comes out of it. These are cooked to about a medium rare. They'll pop them in the oven. We'll keep them up, but they're perfect. Don't think it's rare because it looks like blood. It's not. A lot of people mistaken that, and then they get freaked out, but it isn't. It's just the myoglobin, which is the protein. Okay. Looks like, ooh, am I going to get 2 for 1 here? Look at this, guys. Let's get another plate out. We've got our cheese and tomato pizza here. And then we can assemble our next flatbread. I'm going to pop this one in the oven so it can start cooking up. And then we'll be on the final stretch here. Okay. So I've got this guy. Let's see how we're going to do it today. We'll do our little pesto. Even you could make a chimichurri sauce with this. That would be delicious as well. And let's do our asparagus on here. This is like a nice little individual one. Make it all pretty. Do our mushrooms. And got it. Okay. Do a little wipe my hands. Do a little sprinkle of mozzarella. Parmesan. And then, of course, you can't say no to the steak. Let's take 2 of our big strips of steak. We're going to lay them right across the top. And this guy is ready to go back in the oven. I think this one's ready to come out. So we'll build this one while we wait for our next one. See, it's like a revolving machine. And any request, cameraman, on the last one?
Just steak.
Just steak? Cheese?
Sure.
Okay. He wants just steak. Pesto? No?
No.
No. Okay. Butter with a little bit of garlic salt?
Sure.
We got to make sure, you know, he's my picky one, so we'll make sure he has one that's his way. The butter will melt nicely on here. We're going to sprinkle it with a little bit of garlic salt so it has a nice little flavor here. This in and of itself would be delicious to eat, by the way. And then we got to make sure he has his the way he likes it. So we got our cheese. And then, of course, steak, 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 and another layer. That would be how he would want it. And then we're going to do a little bit of Parmesan.
Are we not doing that?
Oh, okay. Is this cameraman approved now?
No.
Okay. Okay. Cameraman approved. This is called the steak flatbread, which is 90% steak and 10% flatbread. We'll pop that in just a second. Let's see how ooh, this looks like it is cooked up. I said it goes fast once your oven is nice. Look. Get our last one out. And then we'll put this guy in. The cameraman special. Better careful. I didn't want to lose a piece of steak when I was shaking it off. Okay. And then we'll have extra. I will say we'll put the steak here. We'll have extra steak and veggies for everyone to eat on the side, which is always a win. Okay. Down to the final steps here. Let's arrange this all so we can go through and I can go a quick rundown of all the stuff we made. See, it's like cooking for a small army in my family. We've got one more plate to go. And then we should be ready to serve up here. That should be ready. Let's see. Our dressing for our salad. Got that. We're just, normally if I was back home, I'd make my own homemade dressing. But today, when we're cooking outside, I've got the kids swimming, this is the best to do. And I think I see the cheese melting on this. So we are just about golden. I want to be careful that I don't. There we go. The cameraman special. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go over from the top that we made. So we have our arugula salad with tomatoes, fresh mozzarella, and our flank steak that we'll serve with some balsamic vinaigrette. Then we have our sauteed up mushrooms, onions, asparagus, and extra flank steak. This is our flank steak, asparagus, mushroom flatbread. This is a tomato and cheese pizza. This is our cheesy bread, which is just mozzarella, cheese, garlic salt, butter, perfect deliciousness. Here, this one's one of my favorite right here. We've got arugula. You can see the pesto underneath it, fresh mozzarella, our flank steak on our sourdough crust. This one is our tomatoes, mushroom, caramelized onions, fresh mozzarella. And then this beauty over here, we've got pesto on the bottom with our flank steak, our fresh mozzarella, caramelized onion, mushrooms, kind of everything all together. And let's not forget our cameraman special. We've got our flatbread that we put butter on, some garlic salt, a little bit of cheese, and then, I don't know, like layer after layer of our flank steak for a meaty, delicious ending for his night. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to do live cooking shows every single day, show you what we're cooking for our family, and hopefully teach you guys something along the way. Again, we do upload all of our videos to the link on our page. So if you ever want to recreate any of these recipes at home, you can just go to that link, search for what we cook for, and watch again at home with us. We also have our Amazon storefront on our profile page. So if you saw any of the cooking gadgets like our cutting boards or whatnot, we have those all there as well. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like